Hello friends, about 71% of our planet is covered with water, while only 29% is land where all of humanity lives. Everything we know exists within that small portion of land. The vastness of the oceans is so immense that it surpasses our imagination, and hidden within these waters are countless mysterious places humanity may never fully explore.
One of these mysteries is the Bermuda Triangle, and just like that mystery, the Titanic is another great enigma of the sea.
Even 73 years after it sank, researchers still could not locate where the ship was or understand its exact condition. Even nearly 35 years after its discovery, recovering it remains impossible. Today, we won't discuss why the Titanic sank. Instead, in today's episode of ExploreX, we'll reveal why the Titanic can never be recovered and why it may remain lost forever. Most of us already know how and why the Titanic sank, largely because of the famous movie. After the ship sank in 1912, scientists repeatedly tried to locate it, but despite years of effort, they failed. For 73 long years, researchers searched endlessly without success. Finally, in 1985, archaeologist and American Navy officer Robert Ballard led an expedition that discovered the Titanic's resting place and revealed its condition. This discovery uncovered several shocking mysteries. The ship had split into two parts and sank nearly 12,000 feet deep, approximately 4 kilometers beneath the ocean surface. Official records state that the ship was intact until the final moments before sinking, but as it descended into the ocean depths, it broke into two pieces.
Why did this happen?
According to information presented in Titanic, the New Evidence, some researchers suggest that Titanic did not sink solely because of the iceberg collision, but possibly due to a fire that had already weakened the ship's structure. When researchers found the wreckage, they discovered many parts still relatively intact. Naturally, they attempted to recover it, but over time they realized that recovering the Titanic is virtually impossible. The Titanic lies in two broken sections, making it impossible to lift like other sunken ships. Trying to raise it would be like lifting a biscuit after soaking it in tea for too long, it would simply crumble apart.
The first major challenge is the Titanic's weight.
The ship weighs around 143,000 tons, and at such extreme depth, water pressure makes the challenge even greater.
At Titanic's resting depth, lifting even a small portion would require immense force.
To this day, scientists have not developed magnets or submarines powerful enough to perform such an operation. Over the years, several unusual recovery ideas were proposed. One of the strangest involved using ping-pong balls.
Researchers thought that filling the wreck with millions of ping-pong balls could create enough buoyancy to lift the ship. But they quickly realized the crushing pressure at that depth would instantly destroy them. Another proposal involved attaching millions of helium-filled balloons to the wreck. But the obvious problem was how to fill those balloons with helium 4 kilometers underwater. It simply wasn't practical. Another fascinating idea involved freezing the surrounding seawater. Since ice is less dense than water and floats, engineers believed that if the water around Titanic could somehow be turned into ice, the wreck might rise to the surface. This concept required nearly 500,000 tons of liquid nitrogen. While brilliant in theory, transporting such an enormous quantity to that depth was impossible, so the idea was abandoned. Later, legendary shipbuilder Mikhail Rudnitsky proposed an advanced recovery system involving powerful machines to clean marine growth from the wreck, attaching heavy steel cables, and using specially designed submarines filled with gas tanks for lift. However, this project would require around 20 million kilowatts of electricity, meaning a massive floating power plant would be needed. Delivering electricity through cables to such depths is nearly impossible due to extreme water pressure. Even if technically possible, the cost would be astronomical.
Many companies considered recovering Titanic, but financial realities stopped them. The cost would be so enormous that even turning Titanic into a museum would take more than 100 years to recover the investment. No company is willing to take such a risk. On top of that, the ship is rapidly decaying. Scientists have found bacteria consuming the iron structure, slowly destroying it. In a few decades, much of Titanic may completely disappear. Marine life has also made the wreck its home. Because of its historical importance, UNESCO declared the Titanic an underwater cultural heritage protected site. Recovering it would not only be expensive but would also disturb a historic underwater grave. Realistically, the money required to recover Titanic could easily buy an entirely new ship.
And even after recovery, the wreck would have little practical use.
That is why it is safe to say that the Titanic will likely never be recovered.
Still, as long as it survives on the ocean floor, future generations will continue to hear its mysterious story and perhaps even witness its remains through advanced exploration. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it.
And if you love mysterious, thrilling, uncommon, and fascinating stories like this, subscribe to ExploreX and press the bell icon.
See you in the next episode.
Until then, stay curious.